Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, Nia Jax is whole.
Shane McMahon returns on Raw and makes some huge announcements for the Elimination Chamber.
Some other matches were announced for Elimination Chamber. I don't know, something.
What do all the stories matter other than the top one? Kofi Kingston returns to wrestle on Monday Night Raw as well this week. I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the news.
Yes, welcome to our whole cast. Where do you begin with a story like this? How do you lead into it?
I think you just do the whole thing, mate. Just do the whole thing.
All right, so Nia Jax was wrestling Lana on last night's WWE Raw. They did a whole bit where it was one women's tag team champion against another challenger. Shayna Baszler wrestled Naomi after this. But during the Lana versus Nia Jax tables match, Nia Jax tried to do a leg drop on the hardest part of the ring TM, the apron. Lana rolled out of the way. Nia Jax hit the apron butt first. And to be fair, it looked and sounded very sore, right on the tailbone, as the commentators explained. But they didn't really need to explain what part of Nia Jax's body was hurt, because she hobbled away holding her posterior. My butt! All right, okay, fair enough, no problem. Seconds later, my hole! And this led to the finish, of course. There was a table set up against the barricades. Lana kind of put her through it. The match was over, but the real talking point here, of course, is my hole! Which, as you can imagine, just went viral after the show. Now, WWE, in their official YouTube upload of this match, they've beeped it out!
Oh, you cowards!
The word hole has been censored, and heinously, WWE have not given us an update on the state of Nia Jax's hole after this bump on Raw. But you know, this thing was going crazy on the internet as we woke up, as we started watching Raw earlier this morning. So you know we had to talk about it. For me, probably the second most iconic use of the word hole in pro wrestling history. If you want to know the most iconic, check my Twitter feed. I'll upload a little something around the same time this video goes up. But for me, this kind of summoned the very same energy as the -5-star match between Shelly Martinez and Rebel in Impact Wrestling in TNA, where something else was shouted, that if you know, you know. But either way, Adam Wilborn, please spend the next 10 minutes breaking down your concise, expert thoughts on my hole!
Well, thank you, Andy Murray. It takes a big man to admit when they are wrong, and I am that man. Look, I've never been wrong about anything else. I wasn't wrong about Dean Ambrose leaving WWE being a work. I will be proved correct that The Undertaker hasn't retired yet. But on Nia Jax, after this, I have to hold my hands up and say I'm wrong, because I think she might be the greatest wrestler ever off the back of this. I, off the top of my head, cannot think of a single wrestler who's ever sold their arsehole, and I'm including in this, when X-Pac split his bloody arsehole open. Like, aside from, the only arse gimmick thing that I can think of is the thumb up the bum PWG spot from back in the day. This is just... I had a go at a lot of people who were willing to pay £6,000 for a crap Fiend belt from WWE. But if WWE make a t-shirt on with like the Looney Tunes logo on with Nia Jax's head popping out and the word "my hole" written above it, I'll pay $6,000 for it. This might have saved wrestling. This might have saved 2021. This might have saved my sanity in lockdown. My hole, concluding with Lana. I mean... we slated them going, how do you pay off 9 weeks of Lana going through a table? You couldn't just say, oh, well, she eliminated from the Royal Rumble, or she won to Survivor Series accidentally. This is why you have to trust the process with WWE. Long-term storytelling pays off. My hole put through a table. They can never take the titles off Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler because... They're fan favourites now, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean...
Send me all of the memes relating to this at Adam Wilborn. I want song parodies. I want GIFs. I want memes. I want it all. No, I'm not going to finish that sentence because I realise how it sounds. But all the stuff centering around the theme of Nia Jax as whole. Okay,
yeah. More whole content, please. What a weird thing. WWE Raw is 3 hours, and most weeks it's a slog. But I tell you what, for this little 6-second burst of action, the whole show, I'm declaring it officially good again. I mean, I've laughed myself stupid this morning, and I hope you have as well.
Yeah. All right, we're 5 minutes into the news. We've got to fly through these other stories, Andy. Shane O'Mac returns. No one cares. Shane O'Mac returned on last night's Monday Night Raw alongside Postman and Pierce to announce a chamber match for the WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre defending against Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, The Miz, and Sheamus. No one current, no one new, basically. And why on earth isn't it Roman defending his title in there? But regardless, it'll be a bit of fun, won't it, Andy?
Yeah, maybe. Can't compose myself after my hole. It was kind of weird seeing Shane come down, and I know the chants are obviously pre-programmed, but Shane O'Mac chants for like he was the bloody Rock or something. It was crazy. Guy was on TV like 4 months ago.
Also, wasn't he negging Adam Pearce a little bit? He was a bit of an arsehole, I thought.
He was, yeah. Let Adam Pearce be, man. Let Adam Pearce be. He's here putting up with...
There's something there. There's got to be something there. With this long-term payoff with Nia Jax's hole, there's something there with Shane O'Mac.
Can't wait for the genius long-term storytelling of Shane McMahon versus Adam Pearce. So there's an Elimination Chamber match, as you'd expect from a pay-per-view called Elimination Chamber. And it's got a bunch of old guys in it. I'm just being a fanny. The match will probably be fun. They usually are. Yeah. Couple of other matches on the card. Triple Threat, United States title, Bobby Lashley defending his US title against Keith Lee and Riddle. This came about when Keith Lee beat Riddle one-on-one last night, and Bobby Lashley just murdered them all. So, fair play. Bobby is doing some really good stuff.
That match last night was great, by the way, I have to say. Credit to both men, and Lashley coming in and murdering everyone afterwards. I'm genuinely excited. I think that could be match of the night on, a week on Sunday now?
It is indeed a week on Sunday. Time flies. And the other match on the card is, oh brother, Asuka defending the Raw Women's Championship against Lacey Evans. This came about after Lazy Evans, let's go for that. After Lacey Evans beat Charlotte Flair one-on-one last night. Charlotte was DQ'd for kicking too much ass. That old classic WWE match finish. You've got a theory on this match, Adam Wilborn, and it is correct.
Yeah, I'm really, really worried they're going to take the title off Asuka and put it on Lacey so they can have a babyface hero victory for Charlotte at WrestleMania. I realise, in comparison to Lacey, she's not the bad guy. Ain't nobody cheering for Charlotte Flair in this idiotic feud, and I can already see a week on Sunday. Asuka, one of the best female champions in recent years in WWE, is going to do something. I suggested the Mist to Ric Flair, although Andy quite rightly put it out, maybe not in the current climate, but she'll do something to Ric Flair. Lacey Evans will roll her up, pin her, then in the rematch, shenanigans, and we might be getting Lacey versus Charlotte at WrestleMania, which would be atrocious, considering the other options they've got out there.
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley, as you said, Andy. This is dumb. This is real dumb.
Yeah, this is going to go down like a lead balloon, brother. But it's definitely happening. Charlotte Flair is going to be a conquering babyface at WrestleMania. She's not good at playing babyface. Who is this Ric Flair storyline for? That's what I want to know. Maybe you're a pervy old man who's the same age as Ric Flair and is like enjoying this, but it's not good.
Andy, you can answer your own question there. Who is this Ric Flair storyline for?
Oh, pal. He's with a younger woman. Oh, there you go. There's your answer. That's who it's for. Jesus.
Finally, on last night's Raw, again, not that anyone will care after the Nia Jax story, Kofi Kingston wrestled his first match in WWE in over a month, defeating Retribution team members Slapjack and T-Bar alongside Xavier Woods. Of course, he got injured late December in a match against the Hurt Business, jaw injury, of course. He missed out on the Royal Rumble. He did compete the week after, but it's his first match since the 4th of January. He had a 4-week absence, basically. And, well, he still looks great as ever. It's great to see him back, and I'm glad he's recovered, Andy.
Yeah, good for him. Glad the injury isn't as serious as first thought. Nice to have him back. Yeah, that's my thoughts.
Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE. Of course, if you want to get in touch with us, first question today comes from Eddie Zamhari. Eddie, thank you for your question. Says, since Raw has the men's chamber match on the other side, will SmackDown have the women's chamber match with Sasha Banks defending it inside the chamber, or will it be Roman Reigns defending it instead? Yeah, how else do you see these chamber matches coming about, Andy?
Yeah, I feel like going with a women's match would give us a nice bit of variety, right? Although, you know, there's a really compelling men's lineup to be built from people who are doing really well on SmackDown at the moment. Your Daniel Bryans, your Cesaros, your Shinsuke Nakamura's. You could have a really good fun match. But I think they will do a women's match to build it up. Maybe we'll get a tag match as well. Who the hell knows? 3 chambers, baby, in one pay-per-view. That'd be a long night in the Corona era. But yeah, I think they'll go down the men's route. The women's route. Sasha Banks defends. Bianca Belair challenges her for WrestleMania afterwards. 2 + 2 = 4.
Yeah, I think, ironically, with the lead story we've got today, I think they've got this completely arse backwards. I think they should have done a Raw Women's Championship Elimination Chamber. That's how you take it off Asuka and put it on Charlotte and resolve all that bollocks with Lacey Evans in there, and then have Rhea Ripley. Redemption arc, perhaps. That's what they should have done. And Roman, murdering everyone in the SmackDown chamber. But yeah, if they're going to do it this way around, I'd be absolutely fine with Sasha defending it against many of the talented women on SmackDown. Her and Bayley having one final showdown in there would be great. Carmella, you can easily make up the rest of the numbers there. And Sasha Banks, as you say, comes out looking strong, heading towards Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. Phil Hughes gives us our second question of the day. Says, morning, guys. With the rise of wrestling podcasts, YouTube shows, vlogs, etc., do you prefer a wrestler to stay in character while on the show or just be themselves? I personally find it jarring watching someone play the character whilst also playing video games.
Yeah, there's an in-depth conversation to be had about stuff like this, because nothing has done more, apart from, Vince McMahon calling it fake in court, to kind of strip away the last bastions of kayfabe and the wall and everything like that than social media and platforms like this. But at the same time, having been on media calls that have been both worked and, non-worked, the unkayfabe stuff is just much more interesting to me personally, on podcasts, on everything. I have no real interest in pro wrestlers cutting promos on each other while playing video games. It's just that, that's not personally what I'm going to enjoy. I would much rather listen to backstage stories and get some insights and, some anecdotes we haven't heard before, and, their take on matters that they were personally involved with. I'm much more interested in that personally, although I do appreciate that, yes, it's not great for kayfabe, but I mean, kayfabe has been shredded into a million pieces anyway, so is it that big a deal? I don't know.
I seem to remember a while back Sean Ross Sapp having a bit of a breakdown whilst on a media call with Don Callis, just going, I don't know what's going on here, basically. I think there is a time and a place for it, and I think there are a select few who could genuinely pull it off. Someone like an MJF, who just never turns it off.
Yes,
you go. That's absolutely fine, but I completely agree with you, Andy. If every time we had an interview with a wrestler on this channel, they talked about what they did to me in Seattle or whatever, you'd be like, oh, please can't we just talk about your memories of having great matches with people, etc., etc. So I think there is, generally a desire for people to just be real, and I think that's nice, and it gets a closer connection with the fans. But a select few, and MJF is one of them, should never, ever stop being themselves. And I don't think he does. I think actually that's just how MJF is normally.
Yeah, I mean,
I spoke to him when the cameras are off, and he's still MJF. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, if you'd see the emails to set that meeting up, he was cutting promos back and forth. That's MJF, man. That's MJF.
Exactly. Right, final question today comes from Sal, who says, with Damian Priest and Bad Bunny on a hot streak, how long before they win the tag titles and then break up, Andy Murray?
Christ. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're just going to beat The Miz and John Morrison at WrestleMania. But, I mean, look, they put the tag team title on a literal child at WrestleMania the other year, so I wouldn't rule it out completely, but I think we're safe.
And I think Cardi B is going to be the special guest referee in Charlotte Flair versus Lacey Evans. So there we go.
There you go. There
I would
you
not
go.
be surprised. Right, let's move on to today's and finally. What are you expecting? We're still just going to talk about Nia Jax shouting, "Ah, my hole." I couldn't put anything else in here. Are you kidding me? Oh yeah, we got a funny tweet from a wrestler, but off the back of Nia Jax on Monday Night Raw, the longest reigning episodic TV show in history, or whatever they say. The former flagship show, she shouted down the lens, "Ah, my hole!" This is the greatest day in pro wrestling history.
Can we just wrap it up, man? I can't do this. Not again.
Just have fun with that today. Make sure everyone sees it, because this is what the road to WrestleMania is all about, in my opinion. Let us know your thoughts on that and all today's news stories in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. We'll sit down and discuss Raw. This might get brought up with me and the Dudley boys a little bit later on, so make sure you check that out, and you can let us know your thoughts and Twitter questions, memes, GIFs, song parodies, all that sort of thing at WhatCulture WWE. More of that sort of thing, please. Well, actually, follow both of us. You can follow Andy Murray for his big hole tease at...
You can follow me at Andy H. Murray. What the hell do you think the H stands for? Oh!
Follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. Is Nia Jax the best wrestler ever? Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.
We get paid for this.